I wanted the rap battles to be like boxing matches. We looked at Raging Bull, the boxing. He did every battle he shot differently. So it's really about what Gina kind of impressed upon me is she's like, why do you need to tell this story? Why does Sanaa need to tell this story? What is it? How is this story going to be different with Sanaa directing it? And so you want to get that across in the pitch. And for me, I talked about my childhood, and I talked about, we had lots of addiction and struggles, in my family, like being, having parents as young Black artists in America in that time, it was not for the faint of heart. And, I had family members that struggled with addiction, some succumbed, some overcame. And for me, like when I was about 15, I was in a Black theater group in downtown New York, and I kind of channeled a lot of my trauma into that. And I saw, I can use this art as something to get, and that's the same with Bree. I talked about that. I have kind of a great relationship with music, just from my mom being a dancer. Mm-hmm. My dad, coming up in New York in the beginning of hip hop, being around Puffy and Russell and Steve Rifkin. I mean, I'm very close to hip hop. Dad directed Beat Street.
Yeah, Beat Street.
It's like a breakdancing movie that, obviously is hip hop culture. I was on that set when I was 10 or 11. So it's really about showing them and making them feel why you need to tell this story. Basically, that's the gist of it. Because you can go on YouTube right now and watch them, and they talk about really tough subjects. They actually write their raps. And so what they do, if you're having a battle with somebody, you will go and you do your investigative journalism and you find out the worst shit and you bring it up. Because you want to get them off their game, just like basketball, like talking trash. That's what it is. You want to get them off their game. And so that's why they keep bringing up Jay, because I was like, this is harsh. But then when I really talk to, that's what they do. And that's what's so beautiful by the end, when she is like, yeah, that's right. My mom was a heroin addict, and what?
Yeah. You take that power away from them.
You take the power away, and I think that's great, yeah. And because there was so much young cast, I was kind of like a mother figure to them. I have an MFA in acting. If I wasn't doing this, I could have an acting class. I literally have coached people for years, coached my peers. Mm-hmm. And so it was almost like Sanaa's acting school on set with a lot of the youngins. And so
all those lucky kids.
It got to the point, it was so funny, it broke my heart. Towards the end, every take, they would just go, okay, cut, and they go, just ready for me to come in. That I did not want it to be desaturated in dark tones because she's from the hood. I've spent many years of my life in different areas, and some of them are hoods, and when you're living there, it's bright and colorful just like anywhere else. You're not living in a desaturated world.
Right.
And so I was like, this is about a girl. I'm not interested in having that. So I want color. I want this to be realistic, but I want color. And it's interesting because Eric hates color. And I think this is what he also eventually loved. But I was like, you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone, more color. We were looking at Wong Kar-wai, In the Mood for Love,
yeah.
All those Wong Kar-wai movies, the color is so beautiful. And then even Uncut Gems, mm-hmm. I liked how it was kind of gritty, but it was really colorful. And he was like, I know the colorist for that. Damien Vanderkruisen. So he did Uncut Gems.
That's a colorist name, yeah.
He's French. And literally it was like one of those things, he called him and he colored the movie. I'm really proud of the coloring. I mean, it's just
I'm so impressed for your first feature, how much you put into the visuals and that part of it, right?
Yeah.
I think we all expected the performances to be there because of who you are, but you put just as much work into this, and it shows. And I assume you shot digital, right? But it feels like film. There's some grain to it.
We put a tiny bit of grain. I learned so much about what you can do. But I worked, and also it's part of your job as a director to surround yourself with people who can get the job done. And so for me, I'm surrounding myself with, I fought for the Eric Bronco. I fought for the Steve Rosenblum. You know, if I didn't like hold out and make people a little bit uncomfortable, I got nervous, like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but you gotta fight for the good people.